It is your boy Guam coming at you with another banger today. Today I'm actually going to be showing you how to edit cars like this in Lightroom. It's actually very simple. I could show you one of the raw shots right here. That one's kind of blurry. This is one of the best raw shots that I've taken. I've actually used a few cameras. I used the Canon T6i with this with a 50mm lens, and I just used a stand so I could get the exposure right, get the lighting right, you know, all that good stuff. So we're gonna be doing two types of pictures today. So first we're gonna do this dark one right here. Let me get one without the skateboard, but I guess I don't have any without the skateboard. So we're gonna do this one, and we're gonna do one that actually has good lighting. Yeah, so for this one, we're gonna start off with the dark ones here. So I already have a preset, as you guys can tell. I have a preset for all of this, but I'm actually gonna show you guys how to make this from scratch. It's not gonna be as saturated. It all is gonna depend on what kind of picture you have, what kind of setting you're at. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and just get zeroed out right here. So what I usually like to do is I start off with like a fade type of thing. I just bring down the darks. Now you're probably going in your mind, why the hell are you bringing down the darks? It's already dark enough. This is actually going to help with the fade, and then I'm just going to go ahead and reset this to a 0, and then probably just bring up the highlights. You are going to want to mess with the tint. I usually leave it around 7, depending on the shot itself. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this tint at 0 for now. So what I'm actually now gonna do is bring up the exposure. I know it might not look the best, but you're gonna always want to bring it up. Go ahead and mess with the contrast, all depending on your photo. I'm gonna just bring down the temperature just a bit. Actually, for this lighting, it might be best if we have it as a colder temperature rather than a warmer temperature, just because it's a nighttime shot. But let's go ahead and keep going with that. Bring up the exposure a bit more. And what I also like to do is I like to bring up the clarity, because it just shows so much of the picture. As you can see up here, it does show some grain. Don't worry about that. We're going to be fixing that later. So now we're going to actually be getting into the vibrance. Sometimes I do like to bring the vibrance down. As you guys can tell, it can make it like a little bit black or white, but I don't like to bring it down that much. I just like to have it like sitting around 26, somewhere out there. But I also do bring up that saturation. You always have to have the saturation type thing. So we're not going to be messing with any of this today. It's already fine how it is. So what we're going to do is come over here to split toning. All depending on your picture, if you want your whites to look more white, all depends where you shot your picture. So I'm going to go ahead. I want that little like rose type of shade on my picture actually. So I'm going to go over here, just bring it up a bit. Bring this up just a little bit. Bring up the saturation to around 8. I'm gonna leave it like that. So as you can see, we still have sharpening. Bring up the sharpening a bit, just to bring out those shadows or that reflection in the car, which is always a nice reflection that car makes. And if you do need to crop your photo, you could just go up here, just crop it real quick, make it look good to your fitting. You could always edit other things in Photoshop. So as you can see, you can still see the skateboard here. You could actually crop that out in Photoshop, which is better, but I won't be showing that in this tutorial today. So we're gonna go ahead, come already down to the effects. So as you can tell, I do a simple type of thing where it's not that much work, but it's also not that simple to do. You are gonna have to play with whatever type of photo you do have. You're gonna want to make sure you do have clear shots, or else that can mess you up later on. And go ahead, bring up the grain a bit. So as you can see, we're taking away this grain as we add this grain over here. Gonna want to bring it down a bit. You don't want the size to be too big. Leave it like at 10. Might bring up the roughness. I'm gonna leave the roughness, and then just add as much grain as you want. It's all you. It's all depending on your type of style. The photography is a lot about you, about your personality and your personal preferences. So I do sometimes use this noise reduction tool, but I don't use it too much, because if you bring it all the way to 100, kind of just blurs out your photo. You don't want your photo just looking like this and this, unless this is a type of look that you are going for. So I'm gonna just go ahead, bring this down. As you can tell, it does get rid of some of the grain, but now the grain actually looks like it's a part of the photo. It doesn't look like it's just there. It looks like it's a part of the photo. Just bring up this threshold a bit. This also does help get rid of the grain. It's a very good technique I've found. Just doing this does help get rid of the grain a lot. Now this is a lot harder with darker cars and night shots. I haven't really taken any day shots, as you can tell. We've been taking a lot of night shots lately. Like night shots right here. As you can see, some of them did come out blurry. That's because I was using manual focus, and I did mess up with the manual focus quite a bit. So let's go to some of these day shots that I do have of my friend's 5.0 Mustang. This thing is sick. So for example, this, you can make this look super sick. But let's go to one I did already edit. So this, let me see if I could get it here without the. So this was basically the before photo, and this is after. I just really mess with the temperature. It's all of that right there. I'm not sure if you guys want to copy that, but it's really bringing out the contrast in daytime photos. If you do want to be different, you could always mess with the hues down here. Bring up some reds, bring them down. Maybe if you want just a certain color, you could always mess with that. You see, like, makes it look a little bit more old-timey. As you can tell, it makes it look more like I want to say actual, like, what should I call it, old-time photo, like something that you used to find back in the day but is no longer here. I never messed with the curves on this one, even though I really should have, but I never really did, just because of how dark the car is. Just bring up the mid-tones a bit. Actually, you know what? I'll bring up the shadows a bit. I do have the shadows at -5, just so I make sure I get the reflection off the car. So as you can see, these two photos are a lot different. Same exact photos, just different. This one is more of a popping type photo to me. Pops out a lot more. This one's just like a clean edit, like if you just want to do a little simple Instagram thing. But as you can see, you can tell the difference. And this doesn't take too long to do. I know a lot of people think this is a very long process. It's actually only very long if you do take a long time with it. I can show you some of the other night shots I did do with that same Mustang. They should be somewhere down here. This is one right here. This shot, this is one of my favorite shots. I know it should be focusing in right now. So it is, that night it was very dark, and I did not have like a low lens type camera or a camera that was good for the nighttime. So I did what I had to. I used the Canon T2i with about the highest exposure rate I could go to bring in the most light, and low ISO, like I think 200. So these were some of the original shots, you know, not that bright, and I just fixed all of that with basically curves, clarity, and exposure and contrast is what made this photo, especially temperature as well. It is like, I just love the reflection off the black. You see the 1320 right there, and then the grain is just perfect on this. I did mostly all this grain just to get rid of the original grain that was there. As you can tell, you can still see some of it, but I mean, it just blends in with the photo now. Yeah, so just get creative with your photos, really, is all I can say. You can try to make sure you have the right settings and everything. The more creative you get, the better photographer and editor you're gonna be, and the more, if you do want to get it big in the photography scene, the bigger you're gonna be. So thank you guys for watching this kind of tutorial type tip thing. Please leave a like and a comment, and I'm out. Peace.